WQAD's Good Morning Quad Cities continues.
Our time right now is 5:30. Welcome back here to Good Morning Quad Cities.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are following breaking news out of Southern California right now where 12 people were killed in a bar shooting. We'll have much more on that coming up here in just a little bit on Good Morning Quad Cities. But first, in our top story this morning, Davenport police say they have found a stolen gun inside a student's locker at Davenport North High School. Police say the gun was found during a search after what they're calling a disturbance at the school. A 16-year-old student is now charged with trafficking stolen weapons and carrying weapons on school grounds.
An update this morning as Moline police are releasing a picture of a vehicle they say may have been involved in a deadly shooting in downtown Moline on Halloween morning. Investigators are looking for the dark-colored SUV in the background. They think 2 to 3 people in that car are responsible for killing 22-year-old Corey Harrell. Harrell was found dead in a car behind Moline City Hall last Wednesday morning. Police say he was shot after an escalating fight between 2 groups of people.
We also have an update as former Moline Police Chief John Hitchcock is now pleading guilty after he was stopped for drunk driving. This is dash cam video of the traffic stop. He was pulled over for speeding on Highway 61 in Scott County back in September. Hitchcock announced he was retiring last month, 1 week after he pleaded not guilty to the OWI charge. However, court records reveal his attorney filed a written guilty plea yesterday. The time is 5:31. Eric joins us now to tell us what kind of weather we can expect today. We don't have any snow just yet.
Mostly cloudy again for today. Maybe a few glimpses of sunshine. We're optimistic, I suppose, here for this morning before those clouds move back in. Live now in the Quad Cities, 32 at the Quad City Airport, 30 now in Davenport. Wind out of the north at 5 to 7 miles per hour, and wind chill factors are in the 20s. Looking at those feels like numbers, Dubuque's down to 17 right now, 21 the feels in Clinton. Nothing on live Doppler radar, but we can show you that it is snowing out here in the parts of Nebraska and Kansas. All of that continues to move off toward the north and east. Our forecast for the next 8 on 8 shows temperatures upper 30s and lower 40s for today. Now, snow begins at about 10 o'clock tonight. I'll let you know how that is going to accumulate. Accurate forecast just a few minutes away.
Eric, thank you. As we've been mentioning all morning long, we are following breaking news out of Southern California where 12 people were killed in a bar shooting last night.
This happened in Thousand Oaks, California, which is about 40 miles west of Los Angeles. Let's go to the ABC News special report going on right now.
In the attic when this happened.
And Kenny, you were there for Las Vegas Massacre a year and a month ago, and you're here, yes, again, and it's got to be quite an emotional scene and reminiscent of a horrible situation in this country.
Well, and you know, Candace, as we've been talking throughout the night here, this is a country music bar. And so there are actually a lot of people that I have spoken with tonight who were in Las Vegas themselves. They were at that concert. They were there to see Jason Aldean. They love country music. And now they either have friends, they have coworkers, they know somebody that was in this bar tonight, many of them experiencing this kind of incredible gun violence in our country twice in their lifetime.
And we're now seeing some of those images of a prayer circle there at the scene, and these people who were there, many of them were so young. This is an 18 and older club. As you mentioned, this was college country night. This is near a college campus. And we know that investigators have been talking to those witnesses since this happened. Are you still seeing some of those questionings happening, or what is the scene like right now?
You know what I'm seeing that's even worse, it's even scarier, is we're seeing parents arriving, and they're getting out of their cars and they're panicked. And that's what we're seeing right now, and that is hard to see, and that is scary for everybody here. Most of the people have cleared out, the ones that survived this, and so we're seeing some very, very panicked, what looks to be parents showing up at this hour.
Absolute just nightmare
It's
of a situation.
It's just a horrendous situation for anybody, much more for a parent to get there to that situation. Kana being a new mom, I'm sure it's really difficult to see that situation. There were many people who were going to the hospital on their own. Kana, you spoke with some of the witnesses. Did they give a description of what this guy, this madman, looked like, or what he was doing?
Yeah. So those that saw him say that he's dressed in all black, a black hoodie, and that he had some kind of ski mask or something like that pulled up about halfway over his face. I spoke with a young woman who's from a military family. She's familiar with guns, and she said that this person knew what he was doing. He knew how to handle a weapon, and he had a good idea of what he was there to do. And that was really just to create this horrible tragedy, mass chaos. A lot of people, though, also, they didn't see the gunman. They heard the shots, and what they're telling me is that they just listened to what people told them to do. When they heard get down, they got down. When they heard run, they ran. And some of those other injuries you're talking about, Kendra, people were injured by broken glass because some folks were actually throwing chairs through windows to try and escape out of the window. I spoke with another girl who was basically trampled as everyone was trying to escape. So there's still a lot to be learned here tonight. A lot of people did have to take themselves to the hospital. I'm sure we're going to be learning of injuries to come.
Yeah, one witness, or one guy that was inside, said he learned tonight that bar stools break windows because he used some bar stools to break some windows. And many people were saying that the gunfire was louder than the music. I think in some respect that might have helped them realize what was going on at that time.
But it's interesting because some of the witnesses, we've heard several of them say that at first they thought it was a joke, which is, it's just so hard, I'm sure, in the moment to wrap your head around what's actually happening. We've heard from people who were right by the door when the gunman came in. They knew immediately what was happening because they say he came in, shot a security guard right away, possibly threw some smoke bombs in, so that could have disoriented people who were there inside of the club, but then just started shooting at random, especially towards the dance floor where there was line dancing going on.
And Kana, based on some of the witnesses and some of the people that you're seeing, the survivors, you assume that I would assume.
All right, you are listening to live coverage of an ABC News special report right now after a sheriff's deputy was among one of those 12 victims killed in a nightclub shooting in Thousand Oaks, California.
Yeah, so we're learning more about that sheriff's deputy. Of course, we're thinking about all the victims in this case, but the sheriff's deputy was Sergeant Ron Helis. He was a 29-year veteran of the Ventura County Sheriff's Department. He was set to retire next year, and I guess he ran in when we found out that this shooting was taking place during a college country night, so that there were people even under the age of 21 that are probably among the victims in this very, very tragic shooting.
So we will continue to follow this story. We have more information coming up here in the 6 o'clock hour of Good Morning Quad Cities in our next block here of our show. In the meantime, though, we do want to get back to our local news on this Thursday as the state of Iowa saw a record voter turnout during this past election. 1.3 million Iowans casted a ballot, up by 200,000 compared to the 2014 midterm election. That's 61% of registered voters, the highest in Iowa midterm election history. The Secretary of State's office says a record number of new voters also showed up. According to Next Gen America, one precinct in Ames saw voter turnout nearly triple from the last midterm election in 2014.
It shows us that young people are fired up, they're ready to vote. We just need to keep making sure that we have candidates that are bold and progressive, and somebody that's going to fire up young people.
Next Gen leaders say they registered more than 14,000 new and first-time voters in Iowa this year.
The time is 5:38. Still ahead on Good Morning Quad Cities, out of this world.
Where you may recognize this ultra-modern home and how much it costs on the market. Eric?
Guys, 5:38 right now. We've got snow on the way. As we head through tonight, it will be the Quad Cities' first bout of wintry weather. I'll let you know what to expect in your accurate forecast.
You're watching WQAD. This is News 8's Good Morning Quad Cities.